I think. Okay, so I think I need to group y'all up first. Hoping y'all are all at your computer and can hear this. Some of you ain't got a camera on, so it's kind of like, I don't know. So we're gonna work through the homework. Hopefully you've already gone through the chapter 1 Marichek lesson. And I think we need to group up 3 at a time. And I think the way that this is gonna go is you go ahead and work out the problem, and then you check with your 2 teammates. So if you want to try out the chat, you should be able to chat and send messages just directly to like one person. And so if you check out the chat, it has this little box that says 2, and it has a little arrow, and you can actually send it to individual people. And so I think if y'all use like the chat to like chat between your group, that might be the best way to sort of do things. I'm not sure how else to get messages without the whole class seeing them, to be honest. And so I think I need to group y'all up. And so I think I'm going to group up Michael, August, and Aurora. Are y'all both all 3 here, hopefully?
I'm right here.
Michael's here.
Yeah.
August is here.
My syllabus isn't pulling up here for some reason.
Aurora, are you around?
Can't see my.
I know Aurora's here. Just texted me. Okay, great.
Okay. So y'all 3, I want y'all 3 to be in a group. Bree, Chelsea, and Elliot, are you 3 here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm here.
All right, y'all 3 will be in a group. Gabby, Hunter, and Leslie.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Gabby's here.
Okay, I'm here.
Now people are coming in, messing up the name list. Okay. Gabby and Leslie are here, and I think Hunter's here too, right?
Mhm.
Here you are. We're just talking to you. God, I'm horrible at names. Where am I at? Letitia, Olivia, and Paige. Are y'all 3 here?
I'm here.
Olivia's here.
I'm here.
Letitia and Paige just joined in. Hopefully she's here.
Paige, is this your first day? So Matthew, how does the group thing work?
So they should be able to talk between themselves, like in the chat, without other people seeing it.
Can they chat to 2 people at one time?
I'm not sure exactly how that works. They might be able to do it if they put a comment in there.
Are
To
they
be honest,
actually separated into groups? I mean, like, are they in like a separate room?
I'm not really sure how to do that, to be honest. I don't know if we can do that.
You're just grouping them like by 3s, but they're not really, they're still all in one big room.
Yeah.
Because I know you can separate them out, but I don't know how to do that either.
Yeah, I can look into it maybe. I wasn't aware. This is just kind of the idea I had.
Yeah.
And who are we at? God, who's T Trow? Who's that?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. I know your name. I know I saw it like earlier, but you have to remind me.
It's all good. It's Trouts.
Trouse? Okay. Yep.
And that's your first name?
Last name, ma'am.
You're Timothy, right?
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
All right. So Trouse and Xavier.
Got it.
And I think y'all might be the only 2 in the end. Is there anybody that I didn't call that like came in between there? Ooh. All right. Anybody comes in, they'll be with you too, I guess.
All right.
All right. Ooh. And let's see if I can do this. So if I go to the multiple view, I'm hoping like it will show me if y'all do your reactions. And so what I'm thinking is like, how many groups did I just make? 4? I think what the best thing to do is to talk amongst yourselves. And then when y'all get done with it, kind of raise your hand and let me know like y'all are done. Check with your 2 teammates, see if they're getting the same solution. If they're not, then try to talk to each other through the text. And I think let's get started on it then. Let me change my camera.
Quick question before we start.
Oh yeah.
Is this the practice problems for section 1.1 that we're working through?
Oh yeah, the book problems.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So working on 23. When y'all get done with 23, send a reaction of some sort. A thumbs up, a frowny face, a happy face, whatever y'all want to do. Oh, there's no frowny faces. There's just a crying face. So I guess if it makes you really sad.
I did mine yesterday.
Check with your teammates. And I know I didn't like say it to begin with, and I should have really asked, like, are there any questions, like, after watching the lecture video? Any comments on the lecture video? Any feedback you want to give?
You just have 1 so far, correct?
I put chapter 1 up, and just like really late last night, you probably didn't see it unless you logged on this morning. I put 2.1 up.
Okay. Yeah, I've only seen 1 so far.
And I put it 2.1 up as well. It's under Watson videos. So, and I'll be the one that's going over the lesson tomorrow. So you could watch that as well.
We're just doing the first one first, right? Okay. Looks like we got one group ready. No? Yes?
I can't see what you're seeing at all.
So if you go, you have to like switch from like the Brady Bunch view to like the other view or whatever. There's a way to switch back and forth. It's the little speaker view, or it says gallery view.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
And it just looks like a really horrible episode of the Brady Bunch when you go to gallery view. Like, or maybe a really good episode of the Brady Bunch. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't speak too soon.
So it's in gallery view or speaker view?
Speaker view is the other thing. Yeah.
You can see it only in speaker view. And I still can't see any reactions.
Excuse me. When our group is ready, the only reactions, I know we're supposed to raise our hand, but the only reactions I see is a clap emoji and a thumbs up. I don't know which one.
Oh, you can give me whatever. I'm not being picky.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Do the reactions just go away automatically? Is that how it works?
It does. They do.
Okay. So then they don't stay. Okay. Yeah. So I thought that might have worked to like keep your hand up, but I guess it doesn't too much, does it? Last semester we just kind of like made them work through them independently and picked on people independently. But I was hoping maybe like grouping up would help a little bit. And so I'll try to look into how the breakout group system
I
works.
think if we were doing it to where they could actually talk to each other, that would help.
Yeah. But we'll make this do for today, and I'll figure that out for future classes, definitely. Is there anybody that's still working on this problem? I think I saw at least 4 hands go up. If you are, you can tell me to hold up. I can totally go slower. Ooh, let me go to speaker view. Okay. Who was it Timothy? Well, you're the last one I saw. Raise your hand. So what'd you get for 23? I guess
23, we got 29.
All right. And so hopefully you did PEMDAS, and hopefully you did something. I'm going to do it like this, maybe not show you everything at once.
Nope. So we did it all the way down to 5 plus 24.
Yeah. And so the first thing you're doing is probably that 5 minus 1 will give you the 4.
Mm-hmm.
You divide and multiply at the same time. 5 plus 24 gives you 29. Okay. All right. And let's work through 25 now. I think I just have to count the emojis as they come up. That's 1. 2. 3. All right. I think most of you have probably finished this. Does anybody need more time? And if you do, just like let me know. We can like spend more time. But I'm going to call on people. So Paige, you have a question, or you need more time?
For number 25?
Oh, she says she has the answer. Okay. Cool. There is a way to raise your hand. I'm not sure how she did that, but we did have our hand raised. I don't know how that happened. So I think Paige is typing in the chat is what's happening. But Paige did figure out how to raise her hand. There is a way to do it, and I think you click on your screen somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. Okay. Okay, so who can I pick on now? August, are you around?
Yeah.
All right. And so did you do 25, hopefully?
Yeah, we got 149.
All right. And so let's go through this right quick. I know, like, I got to pick on y'all a little bit and ask y'all, make sure you're getting these and working through them. But I know it's probably pretty hard to present it without some sort of crazy contraption. I have the craziest sort of dot cam setup. I don't know. Maybe I should show y'all if I can. Like, this is my dot cam setup. Ooh, can I show you? It's totally MacGyvered, like, you know, but it works. I don't know what to say. Let me switch back to my other camera. That's the one you'll need to see. Sorry. A little bit of tangent, but we're back. Okay, so this one we're going through PEMDAS. So you want to do parentheses and exponents. So we're looking in the parentheses, so we got to do this multiplication first. We could also come out here and work this, and I think I did both of them in one step. So 9 times 6 gives me 54. Now I'm still working in that parentheses. I got to combine those to make the 55. 3 times the 55 gives me the 165 minus 16. Gives me the 149 you were talking about, right? Okay. Any questions about this? I think these things are pretty straightforward, and these are like order of operations, right? They're kind of the rigors of math. They're the way that we do things. They're the language or the syntax of it, you know, like I kind of made that analogy. And so basically, I don't really know any good way to like really get these down besides getting your hands dirty and getting in there and practicing them yourself, which I'm hoping you're doing. I'm hoping you're not just being passive and just like being really lazy and copying things. That's not going to do you any good. And it's going to be really obvious when we start asking you to do your own work, right? So don't dig your hole, is what I'm trying to say, right? Okay. 35. Let's go through 35. So now we did some order of operations. Now we're doing a little bit of a evaluating, plugging things in. Where are we at? 9:30. Oh, look at that. Let me switch to the other view so I can actually see your reacts. It's all of you on one page, huh? Should I put on like some background music, some Jeopardy theme or something? I feel like there needs to be like a little bit soft jazz. Maybe is better. I don't know. Some elevator music. Okay, there's another one. Oh, okay. I'm hoping like this one isn't too detailed. Hoping it don't take y'all too long for this thing. Does anybody need more time with this thing? This one should go pretty quick once you put those numbers in, I think. All right, Xavier, you around? What are you getting for this one?
39?
35.
9.
Yeah. And so we're plugging in 10 to the x, 7 to the y. We're going to do 10 minus 7, and we're going to square it. So you have to do the 10 minus 7 before you do the square. I guess that's the one thing that they're kind of testing in here. 3 squared is going to give you 9. All right. That was probably too much time for those first couple ones, but let's go on to 39. And when y'all get done, just raise your hand. I guess lower your hand. Ooh. Where is the hand raise option? Do y'all know? Have y'all seen it? I know Paige found it. Clicking the participant button and it'll be on the bottom right. See, it probably doesn't give me the option or show me the option because I'm set as host, so I can't really see that, I don't think. Yeah, but raising your hand would be better.
You have to, when it's kind of weird because you go to the chat and then you go to the participant button and then you go, it doesn't show up unless I do it like twice. I have to hit the participant button like twice, and then you can see it raise hand over on the right hand side.
Yeah, this might be a good good time for people to figure out how to find the hand raise. Invite unmute. Ah, okay. So 39. 39. So I know I probably kind of skimmed over the concept, but we only add like terms to like terms, right? But technically, y'all should have had like at least some introductory algebra before you've come to this class, right? So I believe they cover like terms, or they're supposed to have covered like terms in there is probably the better way to phrase that. I know some of y'all sent a reaction, but like if y'all could really find that hand raise thing, I think this would be like probably the problem to get it done. And if you can't find it, then ask some questions. But like, I think this would be a good way to find the hand raise button, right? And make sure everyone knows how to get to it. It would be a good tool. Keep it raised. Saw someone raise it and then let it go. So I have about what, 1, 2, 4. So there's about 7 people who haven't raised their hand. Is that how I'm counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. I'm wondering, do y'all need more time to work on this, or is it just like are you having like difficulty finding like the hand raise? Paige is asking a question. I'll answer that in just a second then. So who am I looking at? Michael, August, Elliot, Gabby, Leslie, Letitia, Paige, and Xavier.
I already raised my hand.
Uh,
Sorry. Maybe I, yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
that's
it
the
goes away
reaction?
after a couple of seconds.
So that's the reaction. There should be actually be a way to raise your hand if you go to participants. And
Okay.
I think it's the little ellipses that's like in the bottom right corner.
Okay. Let me see here. I see save chat. Oh, okay. Here it is. Wow, that's hard to see.
Yeah, I'm just that's what I'm trying to make sure everyone knows where it is. So good deal. You're there, Gabby. You got it. Leslie and Paige already knows how to do it. Paige, you're fine. Leslie, are you finding it?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so if you click the little participants,
Okay.
there's the 3 little dots in the bottom right corner.
Okay. I found it.
Good deal. There we go. Now everyone knows how to raise their hand. It sounds so crazy. It's like we had to start over from base 1. How to raise your hand, right? Okay. And then click like, watch this. All at once, boom, I can lower your hands. Good system. We figured out how it works. And now that's enough of that junk. So who do I want to pick on? Have I called on Xavier? I don't think I called on Xavier yet.
Yeah, you did call on me.
I did just call on you. Who do I want to call on? Olivia. That's another good one.
We got 22A plus 1.
Okay, so let's go a little bit over that because someone was asking, how do I know if it's positive or negative? And so this whole thing is doing like terms. And so I've underlined like the 8 terms in red. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the coefficient. I'm doing 10 plus 5 minus 4. And I think that's how you're getting the 21. Ooh, I said the wrong numbers. 10 plus 5 plus 7. Sorry. I'm doing 10 plus 5 plus 7. And that's how you're getting 21. And that 21 is getting attached to the A. The other thing there, I'm taking 7 minus 2. And then I'm going to subtract 4. So let's do that like maybe one at a time. 7 minus 2 is going to give me 5. 5 minus 4 is going to give me a positive 1. Hopefully that answered the question of why it's plus 1. If not, let me know. I can explain that a little bit more. And so that is problem 39, and 39 is just getting at, we can add apples to apples, we can add bananas to bananas, but they got to be like terms, right? We can't add things with A's to things without A's. And maybe a little bit of a tangent, like if we're adding 10A and 5A, there's something that we're going to do in the future. But part of the reason why we can actually add these numbers is because we can like factor out an A, and then we're just looking at 10 plus 5. And so this might be some justification why we add the coefficients, right? So maybe if it's confusing you why we add coefficients, that might help justify it a little bit. It's kind of because they have that thing in common, right? factor it out unless they have the exact same thing in common, right? And so that's why they have to be kind of like terms. Whew. Showing you all the answers. Okay. Let's start on 123. Boom, right there. So 123. It looks like another evaluate problem. So give me a hand raise when you're done. Okay, so we're working on 123 right now. Are we getting this? Do we need more time? Are we gonna get those hands raised? I guess is what I'm looking at. There we go. Okay, still got 3 people working on it. Bree, I think you just raised your hand. I think we can, let's try to go on with this one. What'd you get for your solution for 123?
Everybody in my group, we kind of got something different, but I got negative 68.
Negative 68.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll work through it. Well, what else did y'all get? Negative 68. What other numbers?
Negative 32 and a negative 56.
Okay. 3 different answers.
Yeah.
All right. That's why we're doing this work. Phew. 9 times 6. I know what y'all did for that one of them. I don't know what the other one is. So 9 times minus 6. So I think that like one of the things that's going wrong is the sign on these things. And so if we do 9 and a minus 6. Can I do this like one at a time? That's going to give you the minus 54, right? If I do negative 2 and a negative 3, this is a game of counting the negatives is what it is, basically, right? If I have 1 negative, if I had on that number negatives, it's negative. I have 2 negatives. This should be positive. And then the last thing, I think I have what? Just a minus 8. And I think the other thing is, are we adding or subtracting the 2 numbers, right? And so if I'm looking here, and I don't think I did middle steps. Minus 54 plus what? 6. So if I'm looking at minus 54 and positive 6, do these 2 numbers, and I'm not looking at the sign, just looking at the numbers, are those numbers working together or against each other? Anybody can answer. It's fine. It's open floor now.
Well, it's like a sliding scale. If you start looking at it as starting with 0, going to your left are all the negative numbers, going to your right are all the positive numbers, it becomes really easy to do problems like that. You can just imagine sliding the number back and forth.
Yeah, and so this is going left, and then this would be going right. And so what these numbers are doing is they're working against each other. And so I'm essentially subtracting the number, and then I'm looking at which one is larger, which is the negative. And so these 2 together should give me like a minus 48, right? And if I combine these 2 together, minus 48, and I subtract 8, and so this is negative, so this is going more negative So these two numbers, 48 and 8, should combine. And so that's where we're getting the 56. And the fact that this is negative and this is negative, we're going negative and more negative, this should also be negative. So I think there's probably, I think y'all are all plugging in these numbers correctly. I think there's probably like a factor of a negative that's throwing those solutions off. Because I think you said 68, which would mean you combine those two instead of subtracting them, right? It's always really interesting to see how where people go off, right? I don't know. So sometimes y'all are way more creative with the way y'all mess things up than the way that things are solved, and it's amazing. Okay. I think we need to speed things up a little bit. Let's do 125. If there's any questions, y'all can always try to interrupt me a little bit. Don't be afraid. Woo, let me put those hands down. Lower them hands. So 125 is similar concept. They're just making it a little more difficult, right? Okay, I think we need to get through this. Okay, so who's Livia? I guess you have your hand raised. What'd you get for this one?
I got 6.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping at least if you got this far. Like, if you didn't get this far, I don't know what to tell you. Like, stay behind and ask some questions. I'm not really sure what else. You should be able to plug things in, right? You should be able to plug -2 into A, -2 into A, -3 into B, and that. And now we're doing that same sort of thing. Yeah, practice counting your negatives. So this is 2 negatives. This is going to be a +4. This is 1, 2, 3 negatives. That's going to be a negative overall. And then this last thing, I have a -3 being squared. That's going to become positive. Woo. So this is positive, and this one in the middle would be negative. Counting the negatives. Everyone's favorite game. Now we're just doing the order of operations. And so this should be the straightforward order of operations from here. 3 times 4 is going to give me 12 minus 24. 9 times 2 will give me 18. I'm going to do the multiplication before I do the addition and subtraction. 12 minus 24 is a -24, plus 6 plus 18 should give me 6. Sorry.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have a negative number and you're multiplying it by a positive number, I usually think it's going to be positive, but what if the positive number is an odd number? In other words, what I'm asking is, does it keep going back and forth between negative and positive as you multiply, or does it stay positive? Let's say it's -2 times +3. So that would be like 2, -2 times -2, which is +4. But if you multiply it by -2 again, would that equal a negative number, or would it still be positive?
I'm hearing like you do -2 by 3, so this is a negative and a positive.
Yeah.
So if there's 1 negative, it's just a negative, right? If there's 2 negatives, it's positive, right? And same so on. If it's an odd number of negatives, like -2, -2, -2, right? Now we have an odd number again. This is going to give you +4. Now we have the same sort of pattern. It's a positive and a negative. So we're back to negative. And so if it's an odd number of negatives, it's going to be negative overall. If it's an even number of negatives, it's going to be positive.
Oh, excuse me. I apologize. I actually meant exponents. Whoops, got confused there. Yeah.
Oh,
I
exponents.
actually meant exponents. Like when you have squared or when you have cubed, that was confusing me.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. It's still odd even, right? And so if you have an even number, this is going to be positive, right? If you have an odd number, that's definitely going to be negative.
Ah, I see. So with exponents, it does go back and forth.
Yes. Yeah. You're a step ahead. I
Between
wasn't
negative
even
and
looking at
positive as you
exponents.
go up.
Yeah, we're hardly even looking
The
at
number of
exponents
times.
yet.
That does affect it.
But that's a really good
That's
question.
what I was
yes.
curious about.
Yeah,
That was actually my original question. I just misspoke.
And I would just think about this as like how you think about the definition of like exponents. If you write out the definition of exponents,
Yes.
it means I'm multiplying 3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that might help as well.
Yeah, that was my original question. Thank you.
Just be careful, like if you have, if there's parentheses around it, then that's true. But if you have like just a -2 to the third without any parentheses, then it stays negative no matter what the exponent is.
Yeah, that was like the second problem in that lecture that we did, and it's a really like annoying sort of notation thing that if you get it wrong, you're gonna get your negatives wrong, right?
Yeah, parentheses and exponents I'm gonna have to be careful with that.
Okay, so that was what 157 is the next one. Oh man, I'm going to give you like 1 minute to do this thing. It should not take you very long with this thing. 125, that's the old one. Next one's 157, 1, 2, 3, these are 3 and 8. So we don't have a whole lot of time. I'm going to try to rush. 175. Did I not do? Oh God, I don't know what to do. right. So what should I put this 21 over? If you have to put it over something?
1.
1 is a no. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. The number 1, that's it. Okay. And if you do that, I'm hoping this takes you like a few seconds. I guess you could do it the brute force way. I like talked about it in the notes. There's like the brute force way, and then there's the simple way, right? And so if you rewrite that, you might notice like 7 and 21. We can cross simplify 7 and 21. And if we simplify 7, divide 7 by 7, gives us 1. Divide 21 by 7, that gives us 3. We're looking along here. I'm hoping one thing you notice is we have nothing but 1s in the bottom, right? That's really, really useful because that's just telling us now we have whole numbers. We have 3. We have to got to multiply 3 by 3. 3 by 3 is going to give me, well, I guess I got it simplified here. 3 by 3 is going to give me 9, and I got to tack that in on. Questions about this? Do y'all remember the cross simplifying thing from previous classes? I really hope you like employ that sort of strategy. You can do it brute force, like I said, and do some simplifying after you multiply things. But this will really save you quite a bit of time on things. There we go. Again. Already. Okay, so that is what, 157? 175. We're getting into fractions. 7 over 12 minus 9/16. Like 12. What's the first thing you should be doing on this? What's the like first thing you should find when you add and subtract fractions?
Least
Common
common
denominator.
multiple, least common denominator.
Yep. Least common denominator is the least common multiple of the denominators. That's it. It's the same one and the same thing, pretty much. Okay. And again, you don't really have to find the least. It just saves you a little bit of heartache in the end, right? A little bit of elbow grease. Okay, so I think we definitely need to get with this a little bit more. And so what was the LCD that y'all found?
I found 48.
48 looks like a good number. And you could probably just like list these things 12, 24, 36, 48, 16, 32, 48, right? You could probably list them and find the multiple that first crosses. But I talked a little bit like in the notes about like a more solid way to find LCD. And so if we do the prime factorization, 12 is what, 4 by 3. If we do it, it's 2 by 2 by 3. 16 would be 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. So if we do the prime factorization of these things, and we sort of look at like our 2's separately from our 3's, the most 2's that are here are 4 2's. The most 3's that are here is 1 3. And so if you do this, that'll give you 48. Ooh.
The only thing I'm worried about is once we start getting into really big numbers, I don't know if that might start breaking down or something that might become like an issue.
This should always work. If you
Okay.
if you break it down to its prime factorization, these are like the individual little Lego bricks that we're putting together to make the house, right?
Yeah.
It's still gonna keep that same form. Like, this is boiling it down to its basics here. And so this works really well with larger things because it's not so obvious with larger numbers what their factors are, right? And when we start breaking them down to their prime factorization, it's a little more obvious what they're composed of.
Yeah. Well, I have a method that I take the largest of all of the denominators, I multiply it by 2, and I try to see if all of the other denominators if I can divide that number by all of the other denominators. And as long as I can do that and end up with a whole number, then I figure that that's going to work.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good way. And that'll probably get you like a pretty good solution for most of the stuff in this class. It sounds like it would probably do that. But
You don't
there's
even have
also
to multiply by 2. Just I like your method too. I always just take the biggest denominator and see if all the other denominators divide into it evenly. And if it doesn't, then I multiply it by 2. And then,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. But I love that method.
and so we want to reach 48. And so to get from 12 to 48, we got to multiply by 4. To reach 48 from 16, we got to multiply by 3. And so what we do to the bottom, we also have to do to the top. And so this is going back to adding and subtracting fractions. How do we get equivalent fractions? So if we do that, we multiply top and bottom by what? 4. We get 28 over 48. We multiply top and bottom by 3. We get 27 over 48. And now we keep the denominator as 48. And we do 28 minus 27 on top. $181. Oh man, this is the easier one, I feel like. 3 and 4, what's your common denominator between 3 and 4?
12.
That's it. You just got to multiply one by the other. And so I hope like the first thing you do, this is a really annoying thing to do. 2 negatives should make this plus in the middle. So I hope the first thing you do is like drop that double negative happening there. That just like, it itches, right? I hope that itches. It's like 2 negatives, that's totally a positive. We want to reach this to 12. 3 times 4 is going to give me 12. Got to multiply bottom by 4. Got to do it to the top. We're going to get something like minus 8 over 12. We multiply this by 3 to the bottom, multiply by 3 to the top. We're going to get something like 9. We keep the common denominator. On top, we do the operation. So it's a minus 8 plus 9 will give me the 1. Whew. Are there questions over these, over how to do them?
The last one that you just did, you know how we move the negative sign around on these fractions, like negative 8 over 12 can also be expressed as, well, it sounds funny, but where the entire fraction is negative 8 over 12, right?
Oh, yeah. And I was going to
So-
show that. Yeah, I'll show that on the next problem, actually. I think it comes up.
Okay, but that would still be 1
Still
over
valid,
12.
yep.
Okay.
And so the last one, I don't even know. This one is almost too easy for me to want to keep up for too long. But you plug in A as a negative 3, you plug in B as an 8, right? So it's a negative 3 plus 8. It's a negative 3 minus 8 on bottom. And this is a thing that you're saying, like if we have 5 over a negative 11, we can put the negative out in front. We can put the negative on top. These are all saying the same thing. Typically, you will see these two a lot more than you see that one, personally. Typically, we don't keep the negative on the bottom. Although like technically it is correct, right? It is all saying the same thing. Questions? I know, like I threw like those last three out there pretty quick at the end. Okay. I think I'm gonna hit stop on the class, and I think that's probably gonna wrap it up for the day. I think we're pushing already over the time.